Hi everybody, it's Vanessa and one friend. Maybe there'll be more soon. So I've missed you in the past 2 weeks. I hope you've missed me. What else is happening today? Well, let's see. It's getting hot out, right? Things are shifting. Change is coming. Change is here. Here or hair. Hey, Nene. So believe it or not, the beginning of May, I think it was the anniversary of our first meditation for global healing. Unbelievable, don't you think? Hey, Jen. So I've been doing this for a year. Some of you have been doing it the whole year, which is really impressive, don't you think? I think so. And what's great is that they're all recorded, so you can go back and check them out. I miss you too, Jen, but at least you can see me on FaceTime. You can come on Zoom anytime too, and then I can really see you. So I've been thinking a lot about what I want to do with this and what we're going to continue with. So I'll be making some changes, but I'm going to finish out the actual 52 weeks because I missed a few. So we're going to finish that off in the next consecutive weeks. I think we probably have like 3 more concluding tonight. And then after that, we'll change it up a bit and won't have it every week. We'll have it whenever I say, but also in between, we'll do different types of lives and things like that. So that's what I'm thinking. But let's celebrate how much we've covered in the past year. Because if you go back and look at all these meditations and discussion, you're talking about a lot of spiritual discussion and growth, hopefully, for everybody. And that has always been the goal since the beginning, was we were in the midst of something very new for all of us. We were quarantined. We were, in a pandemic that was just unbelievable and still is. And so many things have happened. So I want to take tonight and kind of go over a little bit of the feelings in our own minds. We don't have to rehash everything. I don't think that's necessary. But I think it's a good time to take stock, so to speak, of how far we've come and just the evolution of everything and maybe how you've been doing since then and what you've done. So it's almost like meditation for global healing, New Year's. We're going to see it like that. So I want you to think about the first meditation that you listened to. And if it wasn't the one that started and everything, that's fine. Just the first one that you caught on to. And even if it was just a few weeks ago or something like that, just think of how that first time you were listening might have shifted something in you, or that it caught your attention and made you think a little bit further. Anything like that. So, like I've been asking you lately, I want you to have pen and paper nearby. As I can see, my Zoomer is going, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I have nothing nearby. Gary's looking at the ceiling. That will help, I'm sure. One of the biggest parts about growth and change is what I always say is you have to have the reflective aspect. And some people really have it a lot and some don't. And so some empaths are naturally like that. There's an internal thing that just happens for us where we become very reflective, and that's part of sometimes our issues as well. They can make us kind of stuck. We think we did something wrong because we can really feel what other people are feeling, or it can really serve us where we have this natural aspect of internal reflection, and it causes us to want to grow more. And not everybody is always quick to do that. So part of why I've been doing this for so long now is because I'm hoping that we can get many, many people, even if it is one by one, to gather in understanding that, you know what, I could do better, or we could do better, or we are doing better, and let's reflect upon that. And if you do that in your daily life, then you are definitely growing. So over the next few minutes before meditation, that's what we're going to work on, is just taking out some pen and paper. And I want you to close your eyes. And first we'll think about the first time you joined us for this type of meditation and discussion, and your impression of it, and what you heard that night. And if you can't remember exactly what it was, just the feeling of it. Hey, Jeannie. Hey, Jeannie Baines. So get some pen and paper, and we're reflecting upon the first time you caught us for this meditation group and what you heard that night, what you got from it. So I'll just take a couple breaths as you do that. Hey, Chris. Yes, you still owe me homework. I love you too. So as you're thinking about even what the feeling was of coming to, an internet community and what that felt like, maybe that was new for you. If you weren't listening to it live, could you feel the energy of the group together? How was it? What was the experience like? So as you guys are writing, hopefully, I'm going to share how I came to this idea. So I don't remember exactly when it was, but a lot of my creations or ideas, they come to me, out of necessity. So for this one, obviously, it was such a strange and new type of time, and I had been so together with my friends. Hey, Jen! I love you too. So good to see you. And then we were quarantined and we had to stop work completely. And I just remember having this sense of, not just isolation, but helplessness. I can't help the people that are suffering other than send them, money for lunch or something like that. I can't do this, I can't do that. There was a list of I can'ts. It was like a really bad diet. Oh, don't eat that, don't eat that. So when I thought about it, I was like, how can I reach more people, even if it's just a few people logging on here and there, or they watch it later on? Like, how can I have an effect on something? So I came to think of this, and then I did Bill did the music. My husband made the music for me so that we wouldn't have any copyright issues. And then I just started writing what I was feeling to make that meditation. So the first meditation, if you've never heard it before, I'm going to ask you after tonight to go back to the first week. Actually, it would probably be good for everybody to re-listen to it, because it is really interesting to go and feel like what it was like just a year ago. We have done so much. We have changed so much in a year. This is like no other year. And then layered on with your own personal stuff. That's just, it's not even real. It's just so crazy. So I want you to think of how we were all affected, and I want you to listen to that meditation again. So I'll post about that too. Just an invitation to listen to that and really do it, because you'll still get something from it, and it's still useful. It's just a different feeling around it. So maybe you've completed writing a little bit about the reflection about the past, the first meditation that you joined us for. And then I want you to think about, what did you feel stopped by? What did you feel helpless with? Just for like 1 minute, just think about when everything happened, when everything came down in our states, what did you feel like you couldn't do? I mean, obviously we know what we couldn't do, but what did you feel like you couldn't do specifically? For me, I felt like I couldn't help people right anymore. And I had to become very creative. So if anybody wants to so-called shout out, what did you feel like you couldn't do? What did it stop for you?
Seeing my friends.
Seeing your friends, right? Yeah, well, I mean, you were working the whole time and you had to change things too, but couldn't have social activities anymore, right? We were...
I couldn't work in person for some.
Yeah. There were a lot of times you couldn't work in person. And we went from like hanging out all the time and being on top of each other and joking around on the floor and all that stuff to like, oh, I can't even see you. I can't hug you. I can't do this. Yeah, definitely. You know, and maybe it didn't stop work for you. And if it didn't stop work for you, you can just also go over what that shift felt like. So there's a difference between like reliving something and just discussing the emotion of what happened. So I don't want you to relive, oh my gosh, and I remember this night and then this happened. Just go into the feeling of, just for 1 minute, not even, what did it feel like, the shift? What did the shift feel like for you? I suddenly had long nails. That's like the joke, right? Like within a couple of weeks, I was like, boom, bam. And I was with the kids all the time and teaching and all that stuff. So there were big shifts. So what did that feel like? For me, it felt like, I think parts of it felt really good to dive into, to be in a bubble. And then probably when I started doing the meditation for global healing, I was starting to be like, wow, I need to really do more. So I think for like a month and a half, I was like okay with being in the bubble. I was feeling kind of okay with that. And then it dawned on me that I needed to still be able to help somehow. All right, next part, guys. Physically, I know the answer for me, but physically in the past year, how many changes have you seen in yourself and your body and all these things? And this is not to get down on yourself or to even praise yourself. It's really just to be noticing what's happening. Did you see physical effects? Did you feel different things in your body? Did you become more aware of your body? Because there could have been things like that as well. But just to notice that a lot has shifted in 1 year. And if you saw some changes that you wanted to work with, you know, what did you do for yourself? What did you start doing more of? Unmute yourself, Zoomers. I had to imagine. Okay. Go ahead. Anybody want to share? Nothing? Nothing changed at all. Renee's making a face. Stop it. Okay. I mean, there was a point for me that we got into more music together, that we were, Bill and I we were singing. He was playing guitar. He was practicing guitar. I was recording for Jen and her husband's ukulele group, like voice stuff. I mean, there was so many things that were happening. It was such a short period of time and it was all happening. That was all right before school started, and then school started and it was not so good. But for that summer, I mean, we were doing a lot. The next thing I want you to think about is how your meditation practice has changed. Has there been a shift? So you've joined this group with us, even if you're in and out, like you still get benefits from doing one once in a while. How has this shifted your view of meditation, or how you experience or how you do meditation? That I do need a response. Somebody's got to help me out here. How do you guys feel? You've experienced meditation a million times. You've done breath work, I'm sure. You've done mantras maybe. But now we've been doing guided imagery for a whole year. What you got?
I can get into it quicker.
Thank you for sharing, Carrie.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate that. Renee?
Well, I'm just thinking because before meditation, we were doing it with circles.
Circle, that's true. That's true.
I was like already in a head start, I feel.
Renee had a head start. Y'all should be jealous. Yes. This is true. This is true. I agree with that. I think, well, I mean, you did have a head start with it, but these are obviously more in depth. But you've also said that you fall asleep. Yeah, and you fall asleep during it too, so that's fine. I totally get it.
At home.
Yeah, right. Jeannie, how you doing over there? No pressure. Yes, pressure.
I'm driving.
Oh, Jeannie's driving. I feel so honored that you're even logging on then. That's okay. That's fine.
No, I love it. It's been really good. I like the
guided meditation has always been a little bit like this year. I mean, with my meditation year, I never really got into it before this year, but the guided meditation is much easier for me than sitting and meditating with my own thoughts. So I enjoy it. When I don't fall asleep at the end.
That's okay. I don't care. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not the only one.
No, I know. Are you serious? I remember being in my first yoga class in college and like just sleeping so hard at the end, like sleeping, and I was like, oh, I got to get up. Whoops. Oh, I thought I was supposed to just fall asleep. I don't know. So the reason, we do this type of reflection is obviously not just to see that there's growth, but it's also to remember things are not just good and bad, right? We have this array that's in between, just like sexuality and all that stuff. It's not one or the other. There's different everything. And in order to really understand like where you've come from and or how you've gotten to some place, it's very, very important to just reflect briefly. Like I said, it doesn't have to be long. You don't want to relive it or rehash it. You just want to go, wow, maybe a year ago I wouldn't have done this, or I wouldn't have had the gumption to say that to that person, or the acknowledgement of this is not good for me and I need to shift things to make them a little better. Just the awareness. So that growth is so important. It's so vital to understanding that, I never read certain types of books, but now when I see them, I'm kind of interested in them. Okay, now it's time to pick it up, because the truth is, remember, you change all the time. Your cells are shifting. Your human body is changing all the time. So why would you let your mind or your spirit stop its growth, right? We don't want to do that. And then we're going to become stagnant and like kind of resentful people, because we know that that's not our soul's path to just stop. So here within this time span, me, even as a facilitator and as a guider and all these things, I've changed so much. Even when I do the meditations, because that's coming from a higher source, when a lot of times when I'm speaking about something, and for me, it's, number one, forced me back into a practice, which is really, really important. And it's forced me to keep thinking about it. Well, how do I come up with something new to discuss every week? Like, I don't have time to sit there and look at books and stuff like that. So I have to be on the fly, which means I have to be really, really open and grounded to whatever's going to come through. So that's a practice. I have to do it all the time. And especially coming from work and having to, handle with my kids and all those things. It's such a practice. So as a human to my other fellow humans, I want to tell you that as you're trying to raise your vibration, just remember you have to continuously do it on a daily basis, because all this other stuff is just extra noise. It's just 5 million phone calls. You have to do this, you have to do these things, and it's very, very important to continuously reground, reflect, a lot of re's, right? Have a reason, a purpose, and to kind of go back and reuse these other tools that we've discovered along the way. Remember how I just said that last summer Bill and I had been doing lots of music, we had been working out, doing all these positive things, and then once school started for the kids, the time was just gone and we had to really focus on them. But it's time again for us to go back to those tools, because we know they were working. So sometimes you do have to acknowledge that there's not a time for everything, meaning I can't do all of the things that I want to do at one time, but I can go back and sort through that amazing toolkit that I built over the years and go, you know what? It's time for that again. We got to go back to that, which is the purpose of the seasons. So naturally, Mother Nature gives us this wonderful reminder of it's time to shift. It's time to shift. Again, it's time to shift again. And now you take your paddleboard out, and now you take the kayak out, and now you do this, because that's what we do in the warmer weather. We stay outside. So just remembering that it's not black or white. You are not black or white. And all of your emotions, they have to run the gamut. Otherwise, you're not really experiencing your full potential. And Chris, I'm just going to read what you're saying. First meditation I joined was literally a floodgate opening at just the right time. Oh, I love this. For no reason at all, I cried like I hadn't in years. So much had built up subconsciously. I was shoving down. My physical change and life change centered around drinking more. Unfortunately, I've always been a guy that camouflages instead of confronting. Though now I know how meditation helps, I still struggle to make it a routine. And you wrote snuggle instead of struggle, and I think you should have kept snuggle. Yeah, I mean, we are the best and the worst of us. And even though we know something will work, we tend to forget it because sometimes it's easier to forget than to do it. But even if it's just a couple minutes a day, Chris, it's not going unseen, and it's not going unused or unnoticed by the higher ups, so to speak, our bosses. So it will have no loss of energy. If anything, just a couple of minutes at a time can really regain yourself quickly, very quickly. How are you girls doing? Everybody's on mute. Renee's good. Thanks, Renee. You're good. So now as we're doing this massive re-entry, so to speak, into the world, and I want to call it a re-entry because I remember times when I would go up to my beloved Kripalu in Massachusetts, and I never liked after my sessions if somebody would say, oh, now back to the real world. And I'm like, that's not accurate because this is all the real world. It's more like now back to the other world. And we're experiencing a lot of this now. So this re-entry of a lot more physical connection, a lot more interaction, but still a vast amount of judgment and divisiveness, right? Well, we're on a meditation together. We're here discussing that things don't have to be like that. So it would be very silly of me if I didn't mention to continue to honor each other, to continue to be a model, an example when divisiveness, excuse me, I have my Invisalign in, when divisiveness starts or you see it show up, because you will see it, to just be the gentle reminder that, we've gone through something together. We're still experiencing a lot of changes, that we've seen people die from all these things. We've seen people suffer, and we've seen people financially have massive loss. I don't have to keep going through all what we've seen. My point is just to remember that there's not one person that is untouched. Some of them pretend that they are. Just remember to honor each other. That's all I'm going to say, because this is not a platform for us to air our grievances against one another. This is for us to remember that we are really in it together. So when you feel like you're struggling, I'm going to be the reminder, especially since I have these moments every day, be the reminder to slow things down, to use your breath, to use visualizations, and then to ask your people for help or support. And remember, that doesn't have to be major. It could be very, very small. It could just be, Renee, what do I do? Sometimes I'll text you, be like, I need support. And she doesn't know what I mean in that second, but then she'll just be like, do you want to watch something together? What do you want to do? Like, she starts just asking me questions just as an invitation, because all I wrote was, I need support. And she knows that that could mean different things. So she just gives me an offering. Here's my offering. Is this good? Do you want this? And sometimes it might need more. And you met that challenge last month when I was like, no, I need you to come. So thank you. So I'll be your reminder, because we all have struggles and we all have definite moments throughout the day, some more than others, that are very, very difficult. And we really may feel like we're not capable of doing things. And then we have to be the reflection for each other. So we ask for support. Remember, support can be smaller than you think. So don't be scared of it. And also that there's definitely no shame in doing that, because that's what keeps us so connected. So don't forget that either. Helping each other really keeps us so connected. I would be honored to be your spirit animal, Chris. Yes, I'm all for you. My spirit animal currently is a lynx, so if you see me as a lynx, I would enjoy that too. But so tonight's meditation, We're going to go a little backwards and then a little forwards. I'm going to use some time stuff. I don't know what that means yet, but we'll see. So, my friends, as you gather your energy and your thoughts of how things have changed for you in the past year, just open up and remember that even this small group that's watching live right now, you're all connected, even if you're strangers. Remember that the people that watch it during the week, even though they haven't seen you or they may not know your name, that you are connected with them as well. Because once you, as my coach says, put a stake in the ground of intent, then all comes and all joins. So as you come together in this, now this is just my group, right? There are so many sanghas around the world, and thank God for that. But as we gather intention and gather focus, we are literally making threads and threads and threads of connection. And as you cast the next one for your neighbor or somebody you met at the grocery store, because conversation will be starting up more and more again, you'll notice. I want you to remember to honor this and to honor that part of you that has been wanting this for such a long time, that has been wanting for more connection, and that's why you came here. So thank you for joining, and tonight I hope I can make it special with their help. So I want you to start with sitting up, and let's get into our fingers first. I like this. So feet on the ground if that's possible. If it's not, I want you to always have the visualization that your feet and your sits bones, like what you sit on, are like your roots. And the roots of a tree are very, very sacred. They actually like the brain cells and the connectors for the entire tree. Very, very important. And they can speak to other trees. Amazing, right? They can speak to other trees, and they prefer having a variety of trees around them. How amazing is that? These are facts. I'm not making this up. I swear, cross my heart. So I want you to imagine immediately, when I say ground or anybody says ground, you need to ground yourself. There should be an immediate visualization that your body is made up of a lot of roots from the base, from the waist down. There are roots coming from that area, from your feet, definitely, and that you can feel this anchoring that happens so deep, deep down. So immediately that happens. And I want you to send the roots deeper and then wider. And as that happens, you're going to bring your shoulders up to your ears and then start to slowly rotate them down, up to the ears, and then squeeze them back and down. And then we go with my grand word of notice. Notice what happens within just a couple of breaths and slight movement, moving this beautiful form that we're gifted into slowness. Right, your whole day, you might have been moving around, you might have been doing work, you might have been playing. But as we slow down the body and slow down the breath, notice how time seems to slow as well. And pretty immediately, because we're getting better and better practice with this, you can start to feel that warmth and that slowness come not only internally, but also around. So as you're just making small adjustments into your body, and maybe bringing your belly button to spine to support your lower half, that beautiful trunk and roots system that we're growing, let's answer a few simple questions about meditation. Like, why do I close my eyes during meditation? Not always. I can candle gaze, and that's meditation. I can do Qigong with my eyes open, and that's meditation. But when I'm channeling for you guys, why would I close my eyes? And just the simple response is so that I can experience it the same way that you can. So that I can really feel into my body, and then my words get directed by that. So I have an experiential thing happening, and I can contact it, and then I am immediately connected to all of you. So while I can do this with my eyes open, for me, I want to feel what you feel. Notice any shifts even as I discuss the connection. See if you can feel any pull, and you might feel a pull right by the navel area. So when I do my physical work on people, I always say that the abdomen is where I can really contact the energy source from within. And we call this the dantian. In yogic tradition, it's the hara. So they have words for it because it's such a great area of energy. So when we connect to one another, you might actually feel that the navel has a response. The belly gets warm or softer. And it's such a different feeling from what we've been taught as even young adults or kids. Not holding it back now, we're really letting it be free. So give your belly a nice little pet. You know, if any harshness or judgment comes up around your body, just imagine that it's a small animal, or the feeling of holding and stroking a child, a baby, anything that grants you softness without judgment. And then suddenly your belly will be so beautiful for you. So in your meditations, if anything comes up where it starts to kind of unroot you or take you out of the present moment, I want you to allow it to happen for about like 5 breaths. And then as soon as you're able to acknowledge it, I want you to see yourself like it's like grabbing a balloon back down. And grab the balloon back down, and you're going to tie it right through you until it's anchored down to the ground. So give yourself a few basic visualizations that will help you re-engage without punishing yourself for it. You're doing such a wonderful job, everyone. I can feel you softening and anchoring down. Good. And if you've been stroking your belly, just give it a nice little internal kiss down. Like, thank you so much for housing all of my super important organs and helping to anchor and helping to be a major energy source for my body. And thanking the body. Such an amazing job it has. Good. So as things slow down, I'll allow you now to sit back. If you're going to fully lie down, I want you to really focus on keeping into my voice as much as you possibly can. Tonight, God gives us the freedom of choice of what we want to do, the freedom to change things that are not serving us, and the freedom to regain our power. And God does this by giving us direction from inside, the gut feeling that tells us when something feels good or not so good, or everywhere in between, or maybe really good. And as we soften into this beautiful form, we can really listen to that. So last year, when everything was, in the midst of change, so much change, what were you doing that was feeling really good? What were you doing? Go back there just for a few breaths and really contact everything that you were doing with yourself, with your family, that was feeling good. And if the list isn't long, that's okay. Even if you can find one thing that was really serving you, I want you to see it. See yourself doing that again. What felt good about it? How did it feel good? Why did it feel good? Notice the changes in your body as you just think about something that felt good for you. And next, I want you to think of one person that made a positive impact during this time for you. So let's say we're right around this time. Just 1 year ago, we're in June. The outside's getting warmer again. Maybe you were able to see some more people. But one person that no matter what was going on with the pandemic, no matter what was happening, because this goes throughout life, right? Like you can listen to these meditations again and again. And even if it's a different time frame, they still work. So one person that was helping you stay sane or grow or just still being able to have fun somehow. And who was that? And if you think of more than one, fantastic. I'm just asking for one. Now, let's have a little fun trick. People always are curious about seeing auras and what that's like. Like, I don't see them directly the way some people do, but I can feel them. I can sense the color. Now, if you felt the aura around this person, maybe you can sense what it might look like or feel like. And in your mind's eye, I want you to allow the third eye to expand as you see their face and as you're thanking them for being a great source of support. Maybe you can see some light or some colors surrounding their physical being. Remember what I said, sometimes you may not see the color, you might just know what it is, and it could be various colors. And now, moving into the outdoors. Very, very amazing time of the year right now to be able to be outdoors. And sometimes, yes, it might be too hot, but how can we find how fulfilling all parts of the seasons are, right? Even if you have a rainy Memorial Day weekend, how can it still be fulfilling? You have to ask these questions because otherwise we can just get so entangled with how it's so tough or it's not what we wanted. But how could it be exactly what we need? And look into, what do you want to be doing outside? What do you see yourself doing? And maybe you've already experienced some of this already in the season, but what do you want more of? Because it feels good. It feels good, it feels fulfilling, and it feels very calming to you. What do you see yourself doing outside? And if it's something that you can really get into the experience, I want you to do that. I don't want you to make a list. I want you to actually go to at least 3 activities outside. So over the next few breaths, I want you to take yourself and whoever else you want with you to go have an experience. Now, the basis of all my meditations is these senses that we are gifted. So notice immediately what it feels like to be doing the task with your body. Notice what it's like to see. Is it really bright out? Do you need sunglasses? All these little details. And then bear witness again to how the body reacts. This is something you've been thinking about, you've been wanting. And how does the body react to just the thought of being able to do it? Give yourself a few more breaths, finishing up an activity. And then I want you to shift into what you can do for others right now. So this might be a more challenging one. It's a little bit more open-ended. But now there's more opportunity to be giving back to others, or just see if you can find something and get it immediately. Don't think about it. I'm not going to hold you to it. I just want to see what comes up for you. If you think about helping somebody right now, how are you helping? Are you teaching? Are you doing something physical for them? Are you lending an ear? What are you doing? And then deepen the breath. Beautiful. We're going to go into something a little different now. I've been noticing that a lot of people are feeling more vulnerable lately. And because of that, I just want you to feel validated. So I'm going to try to help you with that. I want you to put your hands on your belly. And immediately we're pouring sunlight right into that area. So if you know the stone citrine, this is like pure joy, pure happiness, pure sun. It brings wealth and confidence. So imagine if we can take a giant cup of sunny D, and we're going to pour it right in there. Good. So I want you to feel me now. I take my dominant hand and I put it right behind your heart on your upper back. And the first thing I'll say to you tonight is, I see you. I see the work that you are doing. I see how hard you are trying. I see you. And here I am. I support your heart. All the things that are good, all the things that are deserving, shall be supported with ease. And the path and the road that you've been traveling will become more clear, will become smoother, and will be more enjoyable. And then I come to your front, and I put my other hand supporting my dominant hand right over your heart. remember me. I am the one who will always gift you the insight to see yourself. I am your reflection, your mirror, and I am here so that you can get all the growth that you need to be the best of you. And then now loved ones will come join us. So they'll surround you. Maybe they've passed and maybe they're here. But your loved ones will come and some will surprise you. And as they come to all sides of you, encircling you, they put their palms out towards you. They are saying the same words that I have said with God, that they are here watching, that they are seeing your hard work, how hard you are trying, and that the road will become easier and smoother. You will gain clarity and confidence. And maybe right now you can feel the energy of all this. And that's how strong intention is. When you say your prayers or you say your meditation or your metta out loud, this is what's happening. You are channeling and asking for divine assistance, and you are actually getting it. So if you can feel even a small part of this love that is all there for your asking and for your taking, and it's because you are part of it. And perhaps you'll notice on your own hands right now some tingling or warmth. On your chest, it may feel like there's a palm there. And then the last part, you're going to bring your hands right over your throat area. And you can rest them there lightly if you're not sensitive to that feeling. And this color of bright, brilliant blue comes into the throat chakra. And every time you swallow now, you're gathering more and more saliva. And letting that yin essence just go down into the body, nice and deep, clearing everything out as if you're drinking a lot of clear water. And then I want you to help your energy be cleared and go down to the ground, just soft little motions, using your palms a few inches over your body, slowly releasing and directing all the energy down towards Gaia. And as she transmutes it, she creates a beautiful protective sphere around you, that clearish white one that we always talk about. So let her get that energy down towards the ground first. And then everything will be so soft. And over the next 30 seconds or so, you're going to contact that breath really deeply, coming back into the body slowly, but really deep in the inhale. You can use your Ujjayi ocean sounding breath if you'd like. And maybe you'll see the roots nice and strong and stable, and feeling taller in your being and in your thoughts. Remembering where you've come from, only taking things that serve you so that you can better serve. And one more deep breath in all together, the deepest you can take. And on the next one, if you'd like to finish with the audible Om. So, just keeping that allowance for the body to still be soft and the energy to be tangible, and enjoying that. So this wonderful body that you have that houses everything for you, it doesn't contain your soul, so it's all over and around. And that's part of what we see with the aura. So when you draw it in, when you're around others, that you're not feeling and experiencing all this stuff all the time. So that's another thing that I want to note now, that when you go out into public, and if you're not used to being around more people right now, it's a good practice to really see yourself just drawing the soul back down, as if you're grabbing that balloon again and just letting it be tethered down. And then you can see how that protective of white sphere can come into handy. And when you go into more people, you draw it in like a cloak. So think of yourself like tying it in, or even like a big hoodie, just tying it all into yourself. And then you'll be able to release that as soon as you feel safe. Okay, guys. So I'm here if you want to join us in a little bit more discussion or share anything. Start typing so I can see it. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Wake up if you'd like to. Hi, Naners. You look more awake than normal. No, maybe.
I'm not tired.
Oh, there you go. I like it. You stayed awake the whole time. Good for you. Anything notable that you want to share? Anything that was surprising, or anything specific?
Well, holding my dantian, just, it felt like it really needed it today.
That's good. I always forget that. I know for when I touch other people how important it is, but I forget how important it is for me to touch the same way. Yeah. Hey, Jeannie Beans. Hi. Anything notable for you that you want to share that was either surprising or you just really liked?
I was pretty alert. I pretty well. Softening was really intense.
Oh, you're totally breaking up. What did you just say? I don't like when that happens. Hey, Chris. You're welcome. Okay. I think Jeannie was saying something about softening. I don't know if she said it wasn't working or was. But it's okay. That's okay. All right. So wherever you're at tonight, however that experience was for you, I do want you to write it down a little bit, because this time for reflection is bigger than you think. Especially after something this major, because we already know that mental health has taken a nosedive for many people. And, if you're not actively reflecting, then watch out, because you're going to slip and slide into PTSD mode or something else or whatever, because you're not really taking hold of it. And that's why, we focus on having a full experience so that you don't have to continuously experience it. Does that make sense? So it's if something not great happens or something bad happens, the more you try to repress it, you already know this, you keep it for a really, really long time. And And that goes with everything. So while we want to experience all the greatness, all the happiness, we have to remember that the other stuff is really important to move through, so to speak. So yeah, so don't be shy about it. And it's not if you need help, you need help. So when you need help, it's to recognize it and start figuring out what type of help that is. You know, we always say counseling, we always say body work, all the stuff, but meditation, like everything, it all goes together. So don't ignore it. And we're here for each other. That's why we're here. Jeannie, I hope we can chat afterwards and I can figure out what you're saying. So Facebookers, I'm going to end. If you ever want to catch us on Zoom, it's always in the event details, although I didn't post an event tonight. But oh, hey Jen, my belly softened a lot and the grounding roots felt so healing.
What's going on? I'm like, I saw her post something.
Yeah, I
on
posted. You're welcome. Yeah, I didn't get to the computer to duplicate the event. I can't do that on my phone. All right. I love you guys. On Facebook, it's so nice to see like these familiar, like deep friendships right here. Great stuff. And we're going to have an in-person event really soon. So that's being planned.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to hang up on Facebook and I'll see you soon. Namaste. And the other one is, well, we say chai latte. But jai, which means victory. So we're in a victorious stage, and I hope you feel it. Good night.